All right. This is Nev Lapwood from Snowboard Addiction, and we are live on YouTube, having a live chat / live training session today to help Snowboard Addiction customers with anything they would like to learn. So log on here and ask me what's up with your snowboarding, or what would you like to learn in your snowboarding. So Charlie, how you doing, buddy? I think you were on here last week, right? So how was your year snowboarding? Caleb, my year snowboarding was awesome, thank you. In fact, we still have snowboarding over here in Whistler. It is April 17th right now, and the mountain here closes around about the end of May. So yeah, we've got another month and a half. We've got another 5 or 6 weeks of snowboarding here. Lots of slushy terrain park laps and good times to be had. So this is the second ever Snowboard Addiction live chat. And thank you for the guys who watched the first one we did about 10 days ago. And tonight I am planning to actually teach you guys some stuff. So I've got a little setup going on behind me with a training board, balance bar, and stuff. If you have your own training equipment, go get it and set it up. Put it in your background. And I'm going to try to teach you some stuff today, and then you guys can ask me your questions. So if you don't have your own training set up, you can just simulate the movements we're doing. Or if you have like an old skateboard deck without trucks or wheels, you can do that. Or even if you had like a log or like a big piece of wood that you could use to kind of simulate a balance bar, you can do that. But the main important thing is just to simulate the movements that we're going to do. So trying out whatever I show is going to help you. So looking at the questions here, Charlie says my season's already over. Yeah, there's a lot of places right now where the season already ended. So not too much you can do other than maybe do some off-season training, trampoline training, skateboarding, stuff like that. So Wayne is asking how to run Moguls. All right. So riding Moguls, Wayne, is quite challenging, depending on how big the Moguls are. There's a few different techniques to it. What I like to do is I like to use each Mogul to slow down and kill your speed on, because generally Moguls happen on a very kind of steep runs. Which is why they happen, because everybody's turning so quickly that it forms these Moguls. So when they form up these bumps, I like to use the bumps to slow myself down. So every time I'm turning and slowing down on a Mogul and using that next bump to slow myself down. You have to have your knees pretty bent to be able to absorb all that bumpy terrain, and you have to be very loose in your lower body, because as soon as you ride stiff, it's going to buck you off and out of control. We do have a YouTube video on how to ride bumpy terrain and Moguls, so check that out, Wayne, and it'll give you some more pointers. Hopefully that helped answer your question. Caleb is asking how to do a 189. So a 189 is 9 degrees more than a 180, and I can see your next question there is how do you do a 180? So I know you made a mistake. I'm just making a bit of fun there. But a 180, how do you do a 180? The basic behind a 180, the basic two fundamentals are pop combined with rotation. So, in fact, let me show you this. Let's stand up. So, I'm regular, so I'm standing in my regular position. Now, pop is as simple as jumping on your snowboard, or if you want to make it more complicated, you can ollie. Rotation starts with your upper body. It's where you initiate rotation into your spin. So if I combine rotation with pop at the same time, that's how I get the 180. And that is the simplest form of how you're going to be able to do a 180 on the mountain. Okay? So I'm doing a frontside 180 here, where I'm initiating with my upper body to create frontside spin. And then when I get about 90 degrees, that's when I'm popping with my legs, which are following around my lower body. Frontside 180. So a really cool place to try that out Caleb, is on a training board and balance bar. So in fact, as soon as though you're the first person to ask an actual snowboard trick here, like a park type trick, I'm going to get on and teach that in a minute. I'm going to teach frontside 180s on the training board. So once again, if you guys have a setup at home, go get it out there and work along with this. I'm going to start in a couple minutes. I'm just going to try to get these 3 questions up to date, and then I'll jump in and do some teaching. The live stream today is going to go for an hour, 5:30 to 6:30, and you guys are welcome to ask any questions you want on any snowboard topic or anything you want to learn. So Zodian says, last week for North Star. Hopefully you guys got some good terrain there and good snow open for you last week. Charlie says, why is the tramp board on your site so expensive? Oh, let me answer that. Give me one second. Where is our tramp board? Oh. Our filmer has our tramp boards today because he's down at our liquid tramp facility doing a video. But this is our jib board, which is similar to the tramp board. It's just got the PTX base. Now, why is it so expensive? It's because this is actually made with the same construction as a snowboard. So it has a full wood core on the inside, fiberglass. It has full metal snowboard inserts so that you can adjust your stance. It has actual PTX base. So a lot of the materials that are in this board are actually the same as a snowboard. And the reason we've done that is because we wanted something that performs really well and flexes and bends like a snowboard does so that you get really good pop and control on a trampoline. So if you've tried one of our boards on a tramp, it's really fun and it works really well. You can simulate the same kind of stuff with a skateboard deck or any cheaper materials. It's just not going to give you the same performance as what our boards do. But one of the real reasons why they're so expensive is because our quantities are still pretty small. We're a pretty little company. We're not producing hundreds of thousands of these at a time. And when you're only producing a smaller batches and smaller quantities, it's hard to get the price down. So the price is what it is. It's I'd love to make it cheaper for you guys, but more than that, I want to be able to provide you guys with a product that actually works, that is good. There's lots of different ways you can simulate it cheaper than getting ours. Ours is just going to be the best. It's going to work the best, and it's going to be the best product out there. So, we do a couple of package sales every now and then. If you've been on our website, you can get on our mailing list. So if you go to snowboardaddiction.com, and if you join our mailing list, that will email you anytime we have discounts. But in general, we don't have a lot of crazy sales because we don't have super high profit margins on the products. So how do you ride moguls faster than skiers and efficiently? I'm not sure on how to pronounce it, but it's from Zodan. So how do you ride moguls faster than skiers? You know what? To be honest, it's going to be pretty difficult to ride moguls faster than skiers unless you're a really, really good snowboarder, because skiers have independent leg control, whereas snowboarders, we still have independent leg control, but our legs are tied to the same object, a snowboard. Skiers have the ability to actually completely move their legs independently because they have 2 skis. So that gives them a slightly better control over fast objects like moguls. So it's going to be pretty tricky for you to ride faster than skiers unless you're way better than that skier. Hopefully that answers that question. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quicker detour away from the questions here, and I'm going to jump on the training board and teach you guys a few things, because Caleb was asking how to do a 180, and instead of just chatting to you guys for an hour today, I wanted to actually teach you some stuff and show you some things. So let's do it. And I'm going to do this for 5 or so minutes, and then after that, I'm going to get back out here and start answering the questions again. So I'll get back to where I was. So this here is the training board, and our bindings are designed so that you can put your socks right into them. So, actual clips like a snowboard buckle. Now again, if you don't have one of these setups, you can do these same movements at home right now just without anything. You can do it just jumping. But one of our guys there was asking about frontside 180s. Okay, or he was asking about 180s, so I'll cover both frontside and backside, right? Standing here in my snowboard stance, bending my knees like I'm snowboarding, gonna add pop, but combine it with rotation. So this one is a frontside 180. I'm regular rider. I'm gonna initiate with a little bit of wind up here, release that momentum, and as I get to about 90 degrees, I'm gonna pop and continue that 180 around. So here we go. Wind up, pop, 180. You'll see that as I did the 180, my upper and lower body came around together in a smooth movement. If I'm going back to regular, I can do a switch frontside 180. Wind up, initiate momentum with the upper body, pop and follow through with the lower body. Okay. Now, a couple of ways you can step this up. You can go on a trampoline, get a lot more height, style it out, start putting grabs into this, feel all that out as if you're jumping in a snowboard. If you don't have a trampoline, you can do it at home with a balance bar. This is just going to make it more challenging. It's going to build different muscles into your legs. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to pop up to 50-50, and I'm going to frontside 180 out. So popped up to 50-50, frontside 180 out. Switch frontside 180. Now, why am I doing it with the training bar here? One, it's feeling like I'm doing it gymming, like it's practicing gym type moves. But it's building all these muscles. Doing this right here is building the same muscles that you use and the same stance that you use when you snowboard. So let's do that again. 50-50 up, frontside 180 out. 50-50 up, frontside 180 out. Okay. Now, some of you guys may have seen some of our tutorials online. I'm sure a bunch of you have. I was actually just rotating out there with a frontside. I was doing the frontside 180 there using rotation, whereas on a balance bar, you can also do it with counter rotation. So counter rotation is where your upper and lower body twist against each other to make that spin happen. So if I show you that here, I'm going to jump up 50-50, and this time instead of rotating that front one, I'm going to counter rotate it. This is what it looks like. So instead of rotating in the front one, I'm going to jump from this position right here and have my upper body and lower body twist against each other. Watch this. Jump, twist, jump, twist. Now that's not how I do it on a jump on a snowboard. That's how I do it off of a gym feature. So if I jump up into 50-50, jump, counter rotate that frontside 180 up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back on here and look at some of these questions because I don't want to get too far away. But during these live chats, I want to start teaching you different things. So if you guys can add into the comments the stuff you want to learn, I can start getting trickier and trickier and building in different things. And this is going to be especially useful if you have one of these at home. So just going to grab a quick drink of water. And the team is saying, hey, Nev, what is your background? How did you conceive snowboard addiction? And got that great tagline at Snowboard Addiction, our goal is to improve your riding. Quite brilliant. All right. Thank you very much. Love the feedback. My background is I grew up in New Zealand, and I was a snowboard addict. I just loved snowboarding pretty much. I started when I was 10 years old. In fact, my parents are skiers, so I started skiing when I was about 5, and when I was about 10, I saw all these people snowboarding, and I was like, you know what, I want to try this snowboarding thing. It looks rad. So got into snowboarding at a pretty young age. And I live in Whistler, Canada now. So after I finished university in New Zealand, I studied marketing. I moved over here to snowboard. That's it. I just moved here to snowboard, and I worked in a restaurant over here. And so I could snowboard every day. And that was literally the start of my life over here. And then I became a snowboard instructor. And felt like I was pretty good at it, teaching people how to snowboard. Teaching was pretty much natural to me. So I ended up putting this program together that would teach people how to snowboard via the internet. So wasn't a lot of science to it. It just kind of happened naturally, and it got better and better as I went on. But, you know, there's a lot more to the story. I don't want to take up the whole hour because I could take up the whole hour telling you about that. But maybe I'll make a video about that. And I actually, in terms of making videos, I just want to say, this is our second live chat ever. And on the first live chat about 10 days ago, somebody asked, could you make a video on how to set up a snowboard? And I just want to let them know, if you're on, we made 3 videos today. They're not released yet because we just filmed them today, about how to set up a snowboard. How to set up a snowboard, how to set up your bindings, and the difference between a 4-hole mounting system and a Burden EST mounting system. So just want to let you guys know that I'm taking on your feedback and doing what you guys ask. Now, getting back to the question, how do you come up with the tagline, our goal is to improve your riding? We have several different taglines that we used across the years. And that one I just came up with because that's what I'm really trying to do, is I'm trying to give you guys knowledge of snowboarding so that you can improve your riding. So really my whole goal behind Snowboard Addiction, other than obviously to have a successful business, but is also to help you guys improve your riding. We had different taglines in the past. Some of you have been around for a while may remember we had things like feed your addiction, which kind of seems a bit corny now, but it was funny at the time. And yeah, hopefully that answers that question. So I'm going to answer these questions in order. So I'm going back to NASA Quadri. When trying features in the park, is it better to have a shorter board than normal for a given height weight? So the shorter and smaller your board is, the more easy it'll be to maneuver it. Now, so if you're doing very small terrain park features, a small board's going to be easy to throw around. But that isn't necessarily going to help you as you get to large terrain park features, because as you get better, a bigger board actually gives you more stability. So it's a toss-up. I have a video from a few years ago. We need to update it, but it's about how to choose a board, and it talks about the different heights of snowboards and stuff. Generally, somewhere between your nose to chin is roughly about where you want to be. Towards your chin, if you're more kind of freestyle and parky, and maybe a little bit more towards your nose if you're more free riding and just want something that's going to be stable at high speed and riding maybe some powder snow. And is it better to have a board with more or less flex? So to answer that question, a softer board is going to be a little bit easier to learn on, more forgiving. A stiffer board is going to give you more pop, more control, and more stability at high speeds. So there's no perfect board for everybody. Personally, I like to have a mid-flex board. So it's you've got that softness and forgiveness, but you've got that performance where you need it. Because if you get a really stiff board, it's going to give you good stability, but it's going to be hard to flex, harder to ollie, harder to butter, stuff like that. In your opinion, what is your favorite board? It's from Caleb. Caleb, I like twin tip park boards, twin tip or mountain freestyle boards, because you can do everything on them. You can ride them switch. You can do buttering, 180s, 360s, 540s, rails. You can do everything. You can still ride powder in them. You can ride switch and powder. A good example of a board that I think is a good all-mountain freestyle board is a Burden Custom. It's a good do-it-everything board. But most board brands have a twin-tip all-mountain freestyle board. That is my favorite type. Lisa, any recommendations on protective gear, crash pants? I'm just learning how to jib, but seem to have a new injury after every session. Okay. If you are having an injury after every session, you may be pushing yourself too hard, because you should be able to get to a point in your snowboarding where you're learning things relatively safely. You will be falling for sure, but you shouldn't need to be getting injured every session. I mean, like, I know lots of people have become very good at snowboarding very slowly, progressively, by learning tricks in order. Maybe you're trying tricks that are too hard. So I'm not exactly sure what tricks you're learning right now, but maybe get out there with some friends and see if they can ride with you to give you some pointers on what's going wrong, or maybe you can take some video footage and send it my way so I can see what's going wrong. In terms of protective gear and crash pads and stuff, yeah, it's going to help you. Obviously, everyone wears a helmet these days. It's pretty common. Almost everybody does. Get yourself a good helmet. I ride a Sandbox one, which is a local company up here in Whistler. Burden seems to make good snowboard helmets. I mean, there's lots of ski companies making helmets too. Crash pads, I'm not too familiar with, because I don't wear crash pads anymore because I try not to crash. So I haven't been wearing any crash pads, but I think Burton makes some bum pads and some wrist guards. The more protective gear you wear, the more it's going to protect you. But if you wear too much protective gear, it can actually also start to restrict your movement. So I think a better method is potentially learning things in a progressive manner so that you're not injuring yourself. Hopefully that makes sense. Jason is asking about my opinion on the Battalion Boss. I have not rode the Battalion Boss, so I cannot give you an opinion on it, but I can say that I have a friend of mine who rides Battalion boards and loves them. And I am familiar with Battalion, how they do the triple base technology, which for anyone who doesn't know is that instead of having a flat board, Battalion has it curves up towards the contact points, which are your edges of your nose and tail of your snowboard. And the whole idea behind that is it becomes less catchy, so you're less likely to catch an edge while snowboarding. Now, on the snowboard action boards that I ride, we have that contact. We have those raised contact points as well. Not as obvious as the Battalion ones, but the same kind of concept. So yeah, in terms of giving you specific feedback on that board, unfortunately I haven't rode it, I don't know, but I've heard good things about Battalion. Chuck Van, how does the training deck go on the snow? Never ever tried it for a laugh. Yes, we have. We have tried it for a laugh, and it is funny. In fact, Jesse, sitting in the background over there, is one of our main guys here at Snowboard Addiction, and he took it up on one of our staff days, and we all tried it out. He put real snowboard bindings on it. There's no edge control because there's no metal edges. And the tramp board doesn't work, but the jib board does, because the jib board has a PTX base like a real snowboard. Yeah, it was funny. We may even have some footage of it somewhere. We definitely took some videos, but I don't know what happened to it. It's super funny, not much control because of no edges. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely better for training inside on your balance bar and stuff like that. Long Chen, how to stop over rotating efficiently after 360 or more. Okay, cool. I can cover this topic. Good question. Okay, so Long Chen and anyone else interested to know about this stuff is that when you're snowboarding, there's a trick called shifties, and a shifty is when you go off a jump, you shift the board and you bring it back. So this one here would be a frontside shifty, whereas this one here would be a backside shifty. Now, when you start getting really good at snowboarding in 360s and 180s and 540s, you can actually really pick the last part of your spin, and that's by shifting your board to either make up the last part of the spin or slowing down your rotation to stop the last part of the spin. So if I give you an example here, if I go off the jump into a backside 360, I wind up, I release into my backside 360, and I'm in the air here at 270, and I can see my landing come up, I can actually shifty my board to get it straight to land that last part of the 360. Now, this is quite an advanced technique, and this is only something that happens once you've done 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 360s, because the more you do it, the better you're going to get. But watch this. If I do a whole 360 and I get the whole way through the jump and I'm already at the finish line and my body's still rotating, I can shifty my board to keep it straight while my upper body's still rotated a little bit more, but I can shift my board to keep it at 360. Now, this is something that really only happens once you can already do all the other techniques over 360. So you have to be able to pop off jumps good, have a good entry path, create your rotation, all the other stuff that is involved in a 360 first. And that's something that kind of happens naturally the more and more you do 360s. So I hope that answers your question there, Long Chen, about how to stop the over-rotation of 360s. Now, I've lost where I'm up to. There it is. James Studd. Blazer Swift Thunder in 4. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I think it's another sports team that I don't follow, but all good. James Studd, Russell Westbrook. What the hell, man? I'm not sure who Russell Westbrook is, but all good. James Stud. Fire. I don't even know if he's talking to us. Okay. Movie, yo, Nev. Snowboard Addiction member here. Thank you very much. Stoked to have you as a member. For any of you guys who might not know what he's talking about, we have a membership on our website where you can get all of our best tutorials. You can get them all in regular. You get them all in goofy. There's no ads. You can stream them anytime. You can download them. It's where all our premium customers go. Stoked that you're a member there, Murphy, because you supporting us allows us to do this and me to teach you guys. So I can easily ride into boxes, but trying to progress to rails. My question is, are you supposed to ollie onto a street style feature or pop? So Murphy, the answer is you can do either, but the best way to do it is to ollie. As you get better and better at snowboarding, you pretty much ollie on almost everything. Popping's more of an elementary way to get here. An ollie is more of an advanced way to get here. It gives you more height, but it also gives you more control. So when you learn to ollie properly, you can ollie small, you can ollie high, but you can really direct your board where you want it to be. So yeah, definitely as you get better, ollies. Ollies is where it's at. So it says that you're having trouble progressing onto rails. If you want, if you're a member, send us some footage, man, and I'll either review it on a live chat or something, because stoked to support the members of Snowboard Addiction. Yeah, and if you have any more detailed kind of question on exactly what you'd like, put it in the live chat here, and I'll get to it today. Because I'm also planning to get back on that balance bar. Let's say in 5 minutes from now, I'm going to get back on the balance bar and teach something else. So, Zodian Zoo, I'm not sure about the pronunciation, so sorry if I'm getting that wrong, is asking how to practice 360 on ground. Let's do this. In fact, let's go and jump on the training board and practice some 360s. I'm just scanning through how many questions. I'm gonna jump back into the chat in a minute here, but I'm gonna get on and ask Zodian's question, how to practice 360 on the ground. So, strapping into a jib board here. If you don't have a jib board, you can do this at home with an old skateboard deck. Or you can do it with no board at all. You can still jump 360s. When I say an old skateboard deck, what you can do is take the trucks off the skateboard and you can get like bicycle inner tubes and tie them around your feet so that you can get the feeling of having a board on your feet. Because having your board on your feet is going to lock your 2 feet into bindings, which is going to make it feel more like you're snowboarding. So, to get a 360, you need to combine pop with rotation. The pop comes from your legs. The rotation comes from initially your upper body, but transfers through the core of your body into your lower body. What I mean by that is you need to rotate with your upper body, but then you need to carry that on through with the muscles in your body. So you can start with 180s. So I'm going to do a backside 180 here. Wind up, initiate momentum, pop, backside 180. Now, what I can do is once that backside 180 is easy, try to go for a 270. So you're going to need a little bit more momentum and a little bit better timing. So if you watch me now, create momentum, backside 270. You'll see I'm landing here on purpose. I'm not trying too hard yet because I'm not ready for the 360. As soon as you can get a 270 every time, you're now ready for that 360. It's going to create more momentum and better timing again. Backside 360. Now, if you can do that on the ground here, that's actually way more effort here than I would do on the mountain upper jump. You have to put a lot of effort in here to do a backside 360. When you're actually snowboarding, you get the benefit of the pop from your snowboard, the pop from the jump, and the momentum of your edges. So when you get good at it and you understand the different techniques behind doing a 360 on a snowboard, it's actually way easier on the mountain than doing it right here. But this is the same body mechanics. Creating momentum, creating pop, and having something on your feet that ties it together like you're actually snowboarding. backside 360. That's called backside because that's the direction I'm going here, where my back is initiating into the first 180 of the spin, or I'm looking over my back shoulder as I initiate into that backside 360. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to catch up on some of these questions. We've got about another half hour in the live chat. I'm going to do one of these every week. And the whole purpose here is to answer anything you guys want to know about snowboarding. And every week when I do it, I'm going to start doing them Wednesdays, 5:30 Pacific, which is right now, 5:30 to 6:30 Pacific. And if you have your own training set up or you have your own self-made training set up, set it up in your background, ask me your questions, and I'm going to go through different stuff. Cool, but I'm going to try to slam through some of these questions right now and catch up. My wife wants to go to the next level. What do you recommend? I don't know what level she's at, so it's hard for me to do that. But one thing you can do is just start watching snowboarding tutorials, figure out where she's at in her snowboarding, what she wants to learn next, and she'll be able to get some tips from there to be able to take it out to her riding. James Stud, imagine falling straight on your teeth. Yeah, that would suck. I haven't done it, luckily. All my teeth are still intact. If you want to make sure your teeth are protected, you can wear a mouth guard. Charlie, it's exactly my story is how I got into snowboard. Woohoo! Yeah, Charlie, right on. Ecoch, it's 7:48, 5 a.m. in my city. I'm not sure where you are. I'm assuming you're over the other side of the world somewhere, maybe like Europe or maybe Russia. I'm not sure. Ecoch says, hello. Hi, buddy. Good to see you. Caleb, don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you very much, Caleb. James Stud, a Corona once knocked my tooth out. Yeah, man. Were you drunk? Because, I mean, that kind of happens with alcohol if you drink too much of it. But hopefully you got that sorted now. Zoadin, I think it's a Chinese name, hard to pronounce. Do you have a plan of creating a racing tutorial, hard boots, racing board? I lost it. Okay. Now, I don't have a plan to create racing tutorial hard boots or racing boards because, to be honest, I have never rode racing boots, and I actually don't intend to because I'm more of a all-mountain freestyle type guy. I like riding powder. I like riding park. I like buttering. I like free riding. I like hitting side hits. And that's, what most snowboarders are doing. Park riding, freestyle riding, powder riding. There's very few people racing anymore. It's kind of a thing that was very popular 15, 20 years ago. Lots of people were racing. It's not really popular anymore. Maybe it's more of a thing in Asia. So I'm not going to make those tutorials, but maybe someone else on YouTube will. I don't have any experience in it. James Stud, it wasn't find your beach, it was find your tooth. Oh, did you find it? Tyler Houston, hi. Hey, Tyler, how you doing, buddy? Chuck Van, hey, Nev from New South Wales, Australia, other side of the ditch. I'm actually over in Canada, but I did grow up in New Zealand. Will you be releasing a follow-up on your vid to waxing your board? I'd like to see how you finish. Do you use scouring pads, brushes, or just scrape? Chuck Van, you're on it. We did. We have produced a video. I'm not sure why we haven't released it yet, but it probably will go out this week. And it's buffing and scraping your board. And yeah, it's another simple video, just like the waxing one. Home style tuning for everyday snowboarders. And yeah, it's going to be coming out really soon here, probably within the next week. So thanks for asking. Do you like the new LibTech T-Raz? I might get it. Wow, I got something for you, Tyler Houston. Jesse in the background has that board. Come over here, Jesse. Come over here. Jesse has the T-Raz. Now, for you guys that don't know what the T-Raz is, it stands for T. Rice combined with Chris Rasman. T. Rice is Travis Rice. Chris Rasman is one of our local pro snowboarders up here in Worcester. He's actually a friend of mine. Shout out Chris Rasman. Probably not watching this, but hey, maybe you will because someone's going to tell you that I gave you a shout out. Jesse bought that board. What do you think of it?
I love it. It's a little bit stiffer. It's a 7 flex, but it's an all-mountain twin. So like in the park, in the POW, all over, super fun. It's a little bit wider than a regular board, but I find it's just a little more stable and it charges.
What size is it?
The 159.
159. Does it come in one size only?
Yeah.
How tall are you and what's your weight?
I'm 6 foot, and right now I'm probably way above 170.
Okay, 6 foot, 170, 159 T-Raz. As far as I haven't rode this board, but as far as I know, it's quite an aggressive all-mountain freestyle board. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Aggressive all-mountain freestyle board, rode by my buddy Chris Rasman. It's his pro model. And if you're a aggressive all-mountain freestyle rider in that right size range, you'll probably really like that board.
Yeah, sweet.
Sweet. Marco, great content, bro. Your breakdowns are very detailed and easy to retain. You're a legend. Thank you very much. I appreciate being called a legend. That's awesome. I'm just out there helping people how to snowboard because I'm good at it and I'm good at teaching. And so it works for me. So thank you very much for calling me a legend. And if you're from Whistler, make sure you hit us up. Artem Kushnak. Hi from Russia. Hey, buddy. Hi from Russia. Shout out to all the Russian fans. Seth Molano. What's the goods on Super Park 22? I've never been to Super Park. And I have a lot of my friends who have been. I'm not sure where it is this year. Jesse, do you know where Super Park is this year?
Super Park or Peace Park?
Super Park. So Super Park is an event that they have every year where they go around to different resorts and build really massive terrain park features. I don't know where it is this year. You can probably Google it, unless for some reason it's not happening anymore, which is maybe why you're asking what the goods are on it. Sorry, don't know on that one. Sorry. Oh, 20. Brian just said that Super Park 22 is at Crystal Mountain, Washington. I heard on the 29th to the 3rd. So that's pretty cool. That's actually quite close to us. Crystal Mountain's only probably a 4 or 5 hour drive from Whistler. That's cool. So a bunch of Whistler people are probably going to be going down to it. Russians are watching us. That's from Artem. Ryan, do you have any tips for not being afraid of doing certain tricks? I certainly do. I'm going to give a couple more tips here, and then I'm going to go back and teach another thing because I want to spend as much time as I can teaching you guys different stuff. So tips on not being afraid of doing certain tricks. Okay. We actually have a video, and it's called Mental Training for Snowboarding. Check it out on YouTube. It has some really good tips about mentally preparing yourself for having the right attitude to doing new tricks. And then we also have a little video from a friend of ours named Natalie Sagar, and she made a trick tip for us as well about how to mentally prepare for snowboarding. So giving you a couple of quick tips right off the bat here is if you want to be learning a new trick, you've got to make sure that you can do all the prerequisite tricks. So, for example, if you want to learn how to do a back 7, you better be able to do really good back 5s. If you can only do back 3s and you're trying to do back 7s, that's not a good stepping stone because you're skipping a step. So not only should you be able to do back 5s, but you should be able to do them off a variety of different jumps, small jumps, big jumps with different grabs. If you can do that and do them clean with good edging and good takeoffs and good spins, that's when you're ready to be able to do a back 7. And at that point, you should be feeling really comfortable because you're so good at your back 7s that you can see it in your head and you can feel that you're going to be able to do it. And then that aspect of being able to visualize yourself doing it is powerful, is see what it's like in your mind to be able to go off and do that. And if you can't do a back 5, it's going to be very hard for you to visualize how to do that back 7. But if you're really good at your back 5s, it's not going to be too much more of a stretch to visualize what that's going to look like. You can also look at riders who can do that trick and watch them do it, but then kind of like take it in and feel like it's you and just feel out, what did it feel to do that? Where did you spot your landing? Where were you looking as you took off? The more real you can make it, the more it's going to be likely that you'll be able to do that in real life. And you can actually trick yourself into saying that you've done it. So you can, before you actually go and do this back 7, if you're really ready for it, you can visualize it in your mind so much and tell yourself, yeah, I can do this. I've done it. I've done it a bunch of times. I'm good at it. And I know all the things how to do it. And if you're really good at all the stepping stones, you should be able to do it. So other ways to not be afraid of certain tricks is do it on a powder day. Do it when the conditions are right. So, for example, if you wanted to learn how to do a backflip, I wouldn't go and learn that on an icy park day. But if you can do that on the best powder day of the season, where the consequences of you crashing are really small, that's going to make you less afraid of doing those tricks. Or do it on an airbag, or do it on a trampoline. So if you want to learn how to do backflips, you should be able to do them off a diving board into a pool. You should be able to do them on a trampoline. You should be able to go up and do them on an airbag if you have access to that, or on a powder day if you have access to that. These are all stepping stones that you'll be able to do it before you take it to doing it on an actual park jump, which will help you reduce the fear of doing certain tricks. So, Ryan, if you have a specific trick you're scared of, put it in the questions, and I'll see if I can comment on that. Then I can get real detailed on that one specific trick. David, what do you do in the off-season to keep your shred stoke going? David, that's Daniel, sorry. I love surfing, board sports. I do a little bit of skateboarding here and there. Things that are similar to snowboarding, getting on the tramp training, balance bar training, all stuff that I can relate back to my snowboarding to keep the stoke going. Jason, it's hard to find Google videos to teach advanced techniques like riding Moguls and board performance and all that. How do I progress from intermediate snowboarder to advanced? Cool, it's good you bring that up, Jason. We're planning to do some more of that. I haven't got around to it, but I definitely want to make some more videos about board performance and things like how to become a stronger rider. One of the reasons it's been very difficult to do that style of video is the traditional style of tutorials I make, where I write the tutorial and I go off and film them, doesn't always work for that. But recently, you may have seen, I started doing some tutorials that are very kind of off the cusp and just in front of the camera. That's the kind of tutorials where I'm going to be able to get up on the mountain and do some stuff that will help you to improve your riding to take it from intermediate to advanced. So I am planning to do some more of that stuff. Thanks for the feedback. Mitchell Jarvis, do you have a retail store in Whistler? I want to get the balance bar set up soon. You're a legend, by the way. Mitchell, thank you very much. We do. We don't retail very much, but this is our office. We're in Function Junction, Whistler. Our address is 103-1055 Miller Creek Road. Right now we're on the ground level, but in 2 weeks we move upstairs to the top level. But we're here. We're open 7 days a week. We have this stuff in stock. And just so you know, we also do free shipping in North America. So you can buy anywhere in North America and get the stuff shipped to you for free. We don't always have stock in our office, but if you want to get something quick, you can just buy it on the website. But hey, we encourage you to come down and say hi as well. And our new office upstairs in 2 weeks is going to be really cool. It's going to be a good thing for customers to visit because we're going to have like a balance bar set up that people can use whenever they want. And we've got a bit more space. We're kind of cramped in this little office we have right now. But yeah, it's Function Junction, Whistler, the industrial area of Whistler. The Maven. I'm Frankensteining right now with cartel bindings with Malavita high backs. What are your thoughts, man? No problem. Yep, I lost it. Sorry. I lost where I'm up to. I'm Frankensteining. So for any of you guys that don't know what Frankensteining is, it's where you're taking a pair of bindings and you're kind of putting it together with all sorts of old parts of old bindings. So if you're making up a set of bindings from different parts, nothing wrong with that. As long as all the individual parts are working good. I mean, one of my bindings, the buckle broke and I've Frankensteined a buckle and put a new buckle on. It's totally cool. As long as it's working for your snowboarding, you're strapped in tight, and your performance is not compromised, you're good to go. Chuck Van, what are these specs on your SA board, camber profile, flex, etc.? I'm riding a 154 twin tip all mountain freestyle board. I'm riding Burden Cartel bindings. My stance angles, I'm 21.5 inch wide. I got 12 degrees on my front foot, -9 on my back foot. I like a mid-flex board, mid-width. My boot size is 9.5 US. I'm 150 pounds, 5'9" height, and yeah, all mountain freestyle twin tip board. Brian, tell us about the new 3.5 billion Garibaldi resort coming in 2025. So Brian is talking about a resort that they're talking about making in Squamish. Squamish is about 45 minutes south of Whistler. and they are looking at making a new resort there. To be honest, I don't know if it'll ever happen. It could do, so I'm not hating on it. And you know what? I think it would be pretty cool. I know the terrain up there. I've been up there on my motorbike a couple of times, dirt bike in summer. There's some super cool terrain up there. It'd be cool to have another resort out here. I don't know if it'll really happen. There's just so much politics behind it. But hey, it could, and I'll go and write it for sure if it does. So yeah, just be another addition to the Sea to Sky Highway up here. Squamish is blowing up. It's one of the closest towns to Whistler. So in Whistler, you've got Squamish to the south, and you've got Pemberton to the north. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of people in Squamish will love having the resort there, and there'll also be a lot of haters, because anything that happens in life these days, you seem to have just as many haters as there are lovers. So all good. Roland, whoa, Roland, Gammy, hi Nev. I have the Burden metal binding. I was wondering if it's better to have plastic bindings to have more pop when I jumps. I don't know what the metal binding is. Maybe it's like a high-end performance binding, or maybe it's a split board binding, because I know the split board bindings are metal. So yeah, I don't know which one that is, but if you tell me what the actual brand is, I could look it up. But most people have plastic. Like I have a pair of the Malavitas, and I have a pair of the Cartels, which are a plastic composite binding, and they work great. You know, the metal one, maybe it's a high-end one, maybe it's more expensive, so maybe that's what they're catering for. Either binding works. What are some of the best youth boards? It's Tyler Houston. I don't actually know. Sorry, Tyler. I know that Burden has a huge range of boards, so they probably have some of the best selection. I have a 2-year-old, so I know that he's got an 80-centimeter Burden board, and, you know, it goes good for him. But I'm not sure what the best youth boards are, unfortunately. So sorry about that. I could look it up if we have more questions, if we have more time. But the problem is I got so many questions here that I know I'm going to run out of time before I get time to look it up. So in the sake of getting through everyone's questions, I will only answer what I actually know. For jibbing, what's your preference, camber or rocker? Soft, mid-flex, mid-stiff, etc. I like camber, mid-flex more. I feel uncomfortable on a soft board on rails. Mitchell Jarvis, me too. I like camber for everything I do. I like the flex of camber. I like the pop of camber. I like the stability of camber. And I like mid-flex, because too stiff is too much effort and too soft is no stability. So I definitely like mid-flex. I find a lot of reverse camber boards, rocker boards, are just a bit too floppy, a bit too stiff. They're a bit too unstable for me. So I've had the best results on regular camber. And you know what? I find like most high-end riders tend to prefer regular camber. Tyler Houston, X Games coming to Calgary. That is true. Next year, X Games are in Calgary, which is a city in Canada. And I think from what I've heard, they're not in Aspen anymore next year. Winter X Games are up here in Canada, which is great for Canadians. It's going to be cool. Not as cool for Americans who like going to Aspen, but hey, change is good. I like change. I'm stoked to see it. Maybe I'll go over and make it over there. That'd be pretty cool. Haven't got any plans to at this stage, but we'll see if that can happen. I do have some friends in Calgary, so we'd have places to stay over there. Brian, Casey Willex announced he was invited to 22. Right on. Casey, congrats. Looking forward to seeing some footage of you. Seth Milano, Nev and the boys, much respect. Thank you, Seth. Much respect to all my customers as well. It is great to have you guys out there listening and being part of the tutorials we make. Mal, spinal injury. What's your call on step-ons? We'll be good to go in Japan next season. Can't do my shoelaces up, and my new physiology is going to be permanent. Thanks in advance. Well, if you have a spinal injury and you are not able to do up your shoelaces, I'm assuming it's probably going to be quite hard to do up your snowboard bindings, in which case the step-ons might be fantastic for you. It might be an easy way for you to get in and out of snowboards a lot easier. So I haven't tried them. I have seen them. I've seen a couple of pairs on Whistler Blackcomb. I've seen some reviews online. From what I can see, they seem to be pretty good, but that's secondhand knowledge because I haven't tried them. But hey, if it's going to make your life easier, man, fantastic. I would definitely get a pair because you've got a legit reason to get them. Other than that, for me, I'm just sticking to regular bindings. They work for me. I like to bend down, do up my bindings. I like to be able to keep that movement, keep that flexibility, because I want to be able to do grabs well into my old age. So yeah, I'm okay with doing up my bindings for the meantime. Charlie, if you've ever tried a Rome SDS gangplank, and what are your opinions? I'm thinking about getting it. Charlie, I have tried some Rome boards. I have rode the Rome Artifact, I think it was called, and I also have rode the Rome Agent. And these were a couple of years ago, so I don't know if they've changed a lot, but I had good results riding the Rome boards. I thought they were nice. I was riding regular camber, mid-stiffness boards, and they were great. And you know what? Most companies these days are making pretty good boards. Most good companies. You got Rome boards, Burden boards, Capita boards, LibTech boards, Ride boards. A lot of the good, big, well-known companies, K2, are making good boards. So a lot of it comes down to what brand you like, what graphics you like, what style of board do you want? Do you want a powder board? Do you want a twin board? You know, read the reviews on it, and if you can, try out a demo day. If you go a local mountain that has demos, you can try out a specific board you're thinking of trying. So yeah, maybe try out some of your buddies' boards and see which ones you like. So I haven't tried the gangplank, so I can't give feedback on that. I'm not sure on the exact type of boards that is, but no harsh feelings about Rome boards in general. Artem is saying, come to Russia, or rather to Siberia. I'll show you the most snowy places. Artem, I have never been to Russia, and in saying that, I would gladly go if you had a few friends that wanted to put a trip together and wanted me to come out there. Hey, I'd come out there if you wanted to get me out there and cover the expenses and all that kind of stuff. Make a good reason for me to come. I can teach you guys a bit on snowboarding and stuff. But yeah, other than that, I'm pretty busy and I might not get a lot of time, but I could probably make a trip out there. Be kind of cool. Somewhere different. Alex, I have a tapered directional all-mountain board with a 22-inch stance to the back of the board. I'd like to get into the park. Well, the directional board limit me with 360s and 540s. Yes and no. It depends on how directional it is. If you've got a very directional board, yes, it will limit you on 540s because it'll be quite kind of awkward riding switch. If it's only a little bit directional, you probably won't even notice. If you set up your board really to the tail for riding powder, that would make it quite difficult to ride switch and land switch. So if you want to get in the park, I would recommend kind of centering up your bindings so that you've got more of an equal distance between your tail and your nose. That's going to make it way better for 180s, 360s, 540s, buttering, jibbing, and that kind of stuff, especially as you're doing switch takeoffs and switch landings. Danny-O, whoa, it's 6:23, time flies. Okay, I'm going to get through the last of these questions, and don't know if I'll get a chance to do another little jib session on the rail, but if you next week, let's do some more jib sessions on the rail. I want to teach you guys some bits and pieces. I'm just going to quickly scan and see if there's anyone asking for a specific thing on the rail. Not at this point. So because no one's asking for any specific things on the rail, I'm going to slam through these last questions before the end of the live chat here. Justin, how do you build up the mental capacity to hit your first rail? Start small, man. Go on a small feature and go at a comfy speed that you're comfy with. So if you're looking for your first rail, I'm assuming you've already hit boxes. So hit lots of boxes until you're super comfy. You can hit them with different speeds. Maybe you can do a couple of board sides and stuff. Then go to a very entry-level rail, hopefully something that has a ride-on. If there's no ride-on rails, you might have to do a little ollie on. You know, if it's a ollie on rail, maybe you could, and you have to ollie on from the side, you can ollie right over the rail to start to make sure that you've got plenty of momentum that you can get up and over the rail. But it's about being confident and being at a level where you've hit enough boxes that you know you're going to be able to land this rail, no problem at all. Mikey Milky Bar Kid, hey buddy, long time skater here. I'd love to go snowboarding someday, but it'll have to be abroad since I live in the UK. Can I expect a similar feeling to skating? Will skating help? Definitely. Definitely. People who can skateboard are going to pick up snowboarding really quickly, especially if you're a high-level skater. You're going to pick it up no problems at all. The balance is there. The movement of riding around on a skateboard is quite similar to snowboarding. Ollies, 180s, rails, all of it is very, very similar. If you're really good at skating or surfing or any other board sports, you're going to pick up snowboarding a lot quicker. I'm sure you'll be nailing it in one day. Alex, so should I center the stance for tricks, change the stance to the back of the board? I'd like to do both on a day and not worry about constantly changing my bindings. Yep. Yeah, I don't like to constantly change my bindings either. That's why I have a power board and I have a park board. If I'm going to go ride park, I ride the park board. If I'm going to ride power, I ride the power board. There's no perfect scenario, but if your board's not too far back, it's still going to work fine in the park. Having it centered is going to make it really good if you want to ride switch takeoffs, switch landings, 180s, 540s, jibbing, that kind of stuff. Tyler Houston, have you ever been to Windsport in Calgary? Tyler, I have not been there, but I do know other people have been there who say that it's cool. Have you been there? I haven't. Yeah. Artem, I recently watched a tutorial about Halfpipe, and on the weekends I will try. I've never rolled in a Halfpipe, and in Krasnuriak, must be a Russian name, I don't know the pronunciation, sorry. There's three in Russia, dreaming all my life snowboarding. Man, good luck. We have some old Halfpipe tutorials. I believe they're on our YouTube channel. If YouTube Snowboard Addiction Halfpipe tutorials, some good entry-level stuff for getting into the pipe. Just take it easy, take it slow. You don't need to get out the top on your first day. You can just do small little 180s, riding backwards and forwards, going forward, switch, forward, switch. I got some cool drills on our Halfpipe tutorials about how to get in there. Next one, Raymer. Hey guys, are you going to have another jump training airbag this season? We are not, unfortunately. We have some friends of ours based in Squamish. They're called Airhouse, and Airhouse have their own airbag. Shout out Airhouse. We've done a couple of jump sessions with them before, which are really fun. If they have them, we will go and do them with them, but I don't think they have any planned for the rest of this season. If you check out their website, airhouse.ca, they may have more information on that, but at this point, I don't believe they're having any more this season. Lucky Aiden. Even at your level of riding, do you ever catch edges or otherwise bail on simple riding techniques? Not very often, but occasionally. I put up a video last week of me doing a Whistler Park tour, and I fell on the run. And it was really funny because a lot of people were like, oh man, it's super cool that you kept the shot of you falling. A lot of people seem to like seeing me fall, which I know I don't fall very often, but I still fall. And, you know, it's part of learning is you all fall occasionally. And the better you get at riding, you actually learn to fall a little bit safer as well. You learn to slide away from your falls and fall in ways that aren't going to injure you too much. It's definitely part of riding. If you're really pushing your snowboarding, you may sustain small injuries, but if you progress it in a safe way, you're less likely to get those injuries. So yeah, I fall. I don't catch edges very much, but I think I caught one edge this year. As you get better at snowboarding, you really don't catch your edge too much. Artem, so thank you for video and all bloggers from Canada. No problem. Thank you for watching. Chuck Van, how would you define the difference between levels of beginner, intermediate, advanced riders? How would you define the difference between levels of beginner, intermediate, advanced riders? There's no real way to define it. I would say beginner riders are people learning to snowboard. Intermediate riders are maybe people just getting into the terrain park, learning how to do board slides, 180s, grabs. That's kind of intermediate riding. And then I'd say advanced riders are people doing advanced stuff like 360s, 540s, advanced rail tricks, methods, backflips, hitting side hits and doing tricks off side hits, doing tricks into powder. That's all advanced snowboarding as far as I'm concerned. Intermediate is, could be just getting better at riding, learning how to ride the half pipe. learning how to ride powder. That's all kind of intermediate stuff. No defined way of really judging it. Justin, if I do not have the access to training bar or trampoline, how should I learn a new trick? You can make your own. Get an old skateboard deck, or just make some kind of board that you can use as a trampoline. The easiest way is an old skateboard deck. You can tie it to your feet with bicycle inner tubes, and then you can have yourself a little trampoline. Training bar, you can make one out of wood, no problem. And making your own is way better than not having one. Brian, Casey is sitting it out and vlogging it only because he lacerated his kidney a couple of weeks ago off a jib. Sorry to hear that, Casey. Sucks to have injuries. We've all had them. I'm sure you'll be back on the board before you know it, and I wish you a good recovery. Brian, can you tell us about boot liners? I got level 2 liners and like the better than level 1. Is there a level 3 liner? Brian, it's a very good question. Yes, there are advanced liners, and I have my own custom liners that I have. They are called Intuition liners, which is actually a ski boot brand of liner. And what they do is they mold the entire liner to your foot, to your ankle and everything. So it gives you a better fit. It's more comfortable. And the other thing is they don't pack out, because they use a special foam that molds to you and then does not pack out anymore. So in a normal snowboard liner, it will pack out to your foot because they need to conform it a little bit to be comfortable with what you're riding. Whereas a custom-made liner, they pack it out to your foot so it doesn't pack out anymore. Those are called Intuition liners. I have them. I've been riding them for 2 years. I like them. I'm pretty sure I'm probably not going to go back to normal liners after riding the Intuition liners. So hopefully that helps you check them out. I'm going to get through these last 6 questions. So if you guys could ask no more questions for today, that would be great, just because we're going to do this every week, every Wednesday, 5:30 Pacific time, which is West Coast of Canada or West Coast United States. And you can ask any question you want about snowboarding. I'm going to get the old balance bar set up in the background. I got the training board. We can teach you some tricks. I did it a couple of times tonight, and I want to do it even more. Every week, I want to get on. I want to teach you some stuff, so you can be in the background learning stuff at home with your own stuff, or with the Snowboard Addiction stuff. So I'm going to slam the last questions out here, and then we're going to sign off. And let's see. Rome Powder Division, Powerboard rips, Pal to ice shreds. Good, glad to hear it. Seth, hey Nev, what's a trick that's hard for you? 1080s are hard for me. Never really done them. 900s kind of as far as I go. 450ing out of rail tricks is quite hard for me. I do a lot of 270s out, but not really a lot of 450s out. Charlie W, thank you, Nev. Right on. Thank you, Charlie. Brian, thanks for everything. Love the channel. Best tutorials. Thank you very much. Doing our best. Jonathan Buckhouse, the behind the live stream video was sick. Thank you very much. I'll give you that feedback to Sophia, who is our film intern. She produced that video, and she actually did 3 videos with me today, which are going to be coming out soon as well. Jay Walker, hi Nev. Hi Jay. Thank you. Alex, thank you. Jay Walker, when do you do snowboarding? What do you do in the summer when not snowboarding? Well, Jay Walker, I used to travel between New Zealand and Canada every year, and I used to snowboard basically all year round. I don't do that anymore because I quite like having summer now. So in Worcester, we got a nice long season, 6 months. I snowboard for 6 months, and then I take summer for 6 months. But I still run Snowboard Addiction all year round. So we've got lots of people all year round. We got lots of things to do. We got customer service. We got marketing. We got maintaining our website. We're making videos. We're editing videos. We're producing content. We're working with our manufacturers. We are improving our products. We're coming up with new products. So really, we're busy all year round, and we have a lot to do here at Snowboard Addiction all year round. But I also like to do things in summer, like mountain bike, surf, hang out with my family, and a little bit of traveling, that kind of stuff. Romance Pie, I remember you from the Naki. Right on, Romance Pie. I don't know who you are because I can't tell who your name is, but maybe shout out and tell me who your name is, Romance Pie, and maybe I'll remember you too. Maybe remember me from the Stratford Mountain Club, which is a tiny little resort that I grew up riding. Or maybe you remember me from Boys High School, which is the school I went to in New Plymouth. Justin, I just bought a Burton Custom Bindings 2018. What are your thoughts on them? I like Burton products, good products. Burton Custom Bindings, I believe, are one of their lower end bindings, but you know what? All Burton products are generally pretty good, and you don't need the super high end stuff. You can get by on their mid range stuff fine. So no, I like Burton Bindings, good stuff. I ride Burton Bindings. Jay, by the way, I took a class at Whistler Blackcomb and the instructor recommended your channel. Awesome. Stoked that the instructor recommended my channel. Who was your instructor? Let me know. Jay Houston, you have a lot of viewers. You're so popular. Thank you. Right on. Do you have any tips for falling? Yes. Try not to put your arms out because if you put your arms out, you're putting those extremities out. You're more likely to maybe break an arm or break a wrist. It's better to kind of fall and slide with the fall. Fall with the landing. So, for example, if you're hitting a jump, try to avoid knuckling the jump. Make sure you take enough speed to get over the knuckle, because if you fall on the actual landing, it's going to be way easier to slide with the landing rather than landing on a hard knuckle. So a lot of that comes with experienced riding and getting the speed to be able to hit features safely. I'm going to cut these questions real short now because we are at the end of our live chat. We're already 6 minutes over, so we're going to just slam out these last ones. What are some of the tricks to learn first after I can slide downhill? Maybe butters, ollies, definitely. Butters, ollies, 50-50s, straight airs, grabs. Tyler Houston, stop asking questions. Kane, thanks, Tyler. Do another one on how to frontside 50-50. Not going to do it right now because we're already over time and I got to get back to my family for dinner. But next week for sure. Mitchell, what up? Buckhouse, thanks. Snowboard Addiction, thank you. Kane, do another front 50-50. Thank you, Kane. Frontside 50-50. We will definitely do that next week. Sign in and we will do it. Kane Olet, do another frontside 50. We'll do it next week. Thanks, Kane. Jonathan Buckhouse, what's up? Romance Pie, New Plymouth Boys High School. I was in the same year as your brother Carl. Okay, so my brother Carl's a year and a half older than me. So Romance Pie must know my bro Carl. Sure don't know what your name is, but feel free to hit back with a name. Jonathan Buckhouse, or Mitchell saying, yo, Jonathan Buckhouse, just trying to evolve my riding. Man, cheers. Kane, doing a 50-50. You know what, Kane, I might do this real quick, but it's the last thing. Lachlan, I will learn board slides, but I want to learn board slides. I like keeping my edges sharp. Will this be an issue? No, I keep my edges sharp. If you keep your edges sharp and clean, there's no reason why it should catch on boxes and rails. Watch the video I put up called how to maintain your edges or how to sharpen your edges with a diamond stone. It's one I put up like 2 weeks ago. It talks about how to just clean your edges and keep them clean and not necessarily sharp, but smooth. And I always keep my edges relatively sharp, but smooth because that's catch free. Guys, stop. He needs to see his family. Thank you, Tyler. Last one, frontside 50-50. Kane, this is it. Because you've asked so many times. We're getting on here. I'll get chair out of the way. Want a balance bar. Frontside 50-50. Strap it in. I'm on a jib board. Strap it in. This is the balance bar. Right now, the rail's in front of me. That's why it's frontside. Any rail you approach with the rail in front of you is called a frontside trick. So this is a frontside 50-50. Frontside 50-50. And even just doing this helps build your muscles for snowboarding because you have to you have to use your popping muscles and you have to use your balance muscles. So just being up here, you have to balance a little bit just to be able to stay stable. Once you get used to it, it's pretty easy. But there's all those fine motor movements in your legs and your feet here to keep you balanced. And the more you do that, the better you're going to be able to do it on a rail. And if you want a challenge, add the white top piece. Add the white top piece. This is going to make it way more difficult, and that's going to build your muscles even more. Frontside 50-50. Backside 50-50. Frontside 50-50. almost caught just going on there. Balance muscles, going to be great for your snowboarding. You know, make your own setup if you don't have ours. And you can do that all summer long, and you can be conditioned and ready to snowboard by the time winter comes around. All right, so thanks very much, guys. Stoked to be here on the second ever Snowboard Addiction live chat. Hope you guys got a lot out of this, and I am happy to help you guys anytime with your writing. Check out our website, snowboardaddiction.com, for all of our full-length, best quality tutorials. Our membership has them all regular and goofy. You can stream them, you can download them. There's no ads. And shout out to all of our customers. You guys are wicked. Going to do this every Wednesday, 5:30 Pacific time, and set up your own stuff in the background and jib along with us. And we'll try to do some in the future on a tramp as well. Thank you very much. Peace out.